Hi, welcome back to Let's Talk Forex. I'm Alison, and as always, I'm joined by Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. I am relocated to southern Spain, so I can't really complain. Though Portugal is nice too, you know. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to our topic for today. We're diving into something that can, really help enhance your trading, and that is using AI to map your market.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did, I think it was a few weeks or maybe a few months ago, we talked about AI and more generally and how you can use it in trading. But this time we're going to be looking a little bit closer at one aspect of AI and using real world examples. Yeah, so this is about getting real clarity here. So we're not going to be talking about any hype where there's no signals here. This is just using AI to do smart analysis. You can use anything. You can use ChatGPT. You can use any freely available AI to do this. And what it's going to allow you to do is understand the market that you're trading, understand that better, and help you trade with confidence. So there at the intro, Alison, you talked about mapping your market. So let's first break that down. What does that actually mean? So mapping means understanding what's normal for whatever market you're trading in. So how far it typically moves, when it's most active, and where the patterns tend to appear.
Yeah, exactly. And the goal isn't prediction, it's preparation. And I think that's a very important point. But once you know your market's rhythm, you can really quite easily see when something's out of kilter or when you might have an edge in the market. And then you can adjust your expectations, of course, too.
Yeah, and this is where AI comes in. It's what it's really good at. It lets you gather and test data in minutes, and something that would take hours, or having a dedicated assistant, which I know most forex traders don't have. This can happen literally in a matter of minutes using AI. It's very useful.
There's a very simple workflow that you can try that that I often use in my trading, and I find it extremely useful. And as you say, Chris, something that used to take many hours in the past can literally take minutes. The first step in this process is to pick your market, of course. Choose something that you trade regularly, whether it's Euro USD, Forex, commodities, gold, oil, or the NASDAQ. And you want to focus on one market to practice this because you're obviously going to be able to see the patterns much faster. And then secondly, you want to export data. So you're going to open your charting platform. I like using TradingView. You'll choose a 15-minute time frame, for example, and you'll export about 3 to 6 months of data as a CSV file. And as you can see here on the trading platform, it's a very simple process. You just right click over here and export that file. And then step 3 is you're going to upload that data to your preferred AI. I like ChatGPT, and you don't need a fancy plan. You can literally just upload it and it'll analyze the files for you.
Yeah, and then once you've done that, you want to ask for 4 simple statistics just to get yourself started. So you want to know what the minimum daily range was. You want to know what the maximum daily range was. You want to know what the mean daily range was. And then most importantly, well, not most importantly, but really importantly, and I think a step that a lot of people wouldn't think about is the mode daily range. So this is the most common range.
Yes, and the mode really matters because averages obviously get distorted by outlier days. So the mode shows you the range that your market usually, the range that it usually makes.
Yeah, and once you've got that, you can use that information to frame your day, right? So if today's move is still below the typical daily range, then you can expect more activity in the market. If it's already exceeded that range, then you probably want to start thinking that you should be a bit more careful.
So let's zoom into the first 15 minutes of the trading session, the opening range. So here you'll ask your AI what are the minimum, the maximum, the mean, and the mode of the first 15-minute range. And then you're going to round it to practical sizes, like 10 pips or 15 points, depending on your market. And then you want to ask it which size happens the most often. And that's a very simple way for you to provide ChatGPT or your AI with a prompt.
Why are we asking about this opening range? Why are we asking about this 15 minutes? This matters because when you have wide openings, this often leads to big trading days. So there's a positive correlation between a wide 15-minute range at the start of the trading day and then a larger total daily range.
And that means that, as you're saying, Chris, if the day starts with huge momentum, it might continue. So you can hold the winners longer on wide open days. You will fade less aggressively in the afternoons, for example, or you might shift to mean reversion mode when the open is unusually quiet. AI will tell you that quite easily.
And this is the beautiful thing about this. You don't need to be a statistician. You don't need to be supremely technical. You can literally ask the AI in trader language, in normal common language, what does this correlation mean for my entries and exits? And then the AI will just break it down simply for you.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very, very useful and very time-saving tool. And you also notice that the markets have a rhythm. Like gold often spikes around news events, or indices sort of get a burst of energy around the US close. And this is also something that you can look at, testing with AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's really easy to test these kind of things. If you've got a feeling on something, you can say, okay, over the past 60 days, what was the net change from, I don't know, noon until 6 p.m. GMT or something like that? Or you can say, which 30-minute window shows the most consistent directional bias?
Yeah. And when your setup lines up with those time-tested tendencies, then you've got extra confirmation. So if your signal appears during a, low odds window, then that's your cue to tighten your stops or wait.
Let's talk about a couple guardrails here before everybody goes data crazy. So you want to verify, right? This is really important with AI. I mean, I think as everybody knows now that AI has, they've put a very diplomatic way of putting it, which is hallucinates. It just out and out, flat out lies. So you do need to verify. So always spot check what AI tells you. Look at the chart. Back test if you need to, just always double check. And then don't overfit. And this is really important. So you're looking for broad tendencies here, not magic numbers. So keep your findings simple, keep it repeatable. Don't really get granular in the data and try it. Because then you're going to find stuff that just probably isn't going to replicate very often.
Absolutely. And especially if you're looking at the wrong time of day and nobody else cares about it, it means nothing. Yeah, you want to skip meaningless stats. 7 green candles in a row might tell you nothing. Focus on what affects execution, your ranges, your volatility, your session tendencies, and of course, reversions to mean, as we were talking about earlier. Look at that opening range and see what's happening there. So how do you build a one-page playbook with AI? You want to summarize your findings on a single page. So once you've input that data, then, go ahead and summarize it so that it's easy to visualize. So you'll put down the market and the session you trade. As we mentioned earlier, we'll look at the modal daily range, at the typical opening range, whether it's a wide range for that day or a narrow range, which will tell you possibly how wide the day, or whether you can hold your trades for longer or whether you might be finding mean reversion trades. And then you want 1 or 2 reliable time of day tendencies. So as you mentioned earlier, Chris, look at the close of a session, what happens at the close or the open of sessions, and test your hunches. And then your rules of engagement, when to size up, and of course, when to step back or wait.
That's a really good list you've got there, Alison. I mean, people need to remember this isn't about signal generation or anything. This is about creating a context. It's about creating a platform. The goal is to stop guessing what's normal and to trade with true perspective, with a true understanding of your market.
Yeah, as they say in trading, context is king. And this is what ChatGPT can really create for you, is a very clear context of what's happening in the markets. Okay, so as we come to the end of our episode, we've got 3 ready-to-use prompts that will pop in the episode notes, and you'll just basically upload your data and paste those prompts in. So one is for the daily frame, the second one is for an opening range, and the third is for a correlation check. And I think you'll find them very useful.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. They're pretty simple ones, but quite powerful when used correctly. So yeah, as you say, we've come to the end of this episode now. But if you do only one thing after this episode, upload your market data, find your modal daily range and the opening range mode of whatever market that you trade the most, you're going to instantly see your trades in a better context, I guarantee you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, manage your risk, trade your plan, and let the data do the heavy lifting. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, Alison.
Yeah, please remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this episode.